Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. George, a man of 74 seasons, had always prided himself on his robust health. Retirement from his long and fulfilling career as a history teacher at Northwood High had granted him the leisure to pursue his passions, tending to his meticulously curated rose garden, devouring historical biographies with the same fervor his students once reserved for football games, and most cherished of all, spending time with his grandson, 8-year-old Leo. Their adventures were legendary, spanning from epic quests for the perfect ice cream cone to daring explorations of the seemingly endless woods behind George's modest but comfortable suburban home. But lately, something had been amiss. A subtle tremor, a fleeting weakness in his legs, had begun to creep into George's mornings. He initially dismissed it as the inevitable wear and tear of time, a minor inconvenience in the grand tapestry of a life well lived. Just getting old, he'd muttered to himself, adjusting his spectacles and shuffling towards the coffee pot. He was, after all, 74. Such things were to be expected. The human body, he knew from countless historical accounts, was a magnificent machine, but even the most finely tuned mechanisms eventually succumbed to the relentless march of entropy. However, the minor inconvenience soon escalated into something far more alarming. It wasn't just a morning nuisance anymore. It was an ever-present threat lurking in the shadows of his daily routines. One Tuesday, while navigating the crowded aisles of Miller's Grocery, a place he frequented not only for its selection of artisanal cheeses, but also for the cheerful banter with Mrs. Higgins, the ever-gossiping cashier disaster nearly struck. He reached for a jar of his favorite pickled onions, a tangy delight that always transported him back to his childhood summers spent with his grandfather when a wave of dizziness washed over him. His legs buckled. The jar slipped from his grasp, and he found himself flailing desperately, trying to regain his balance amidst a sea of concerned faces and shattered glass. He managed to grab onto a nearby shelf, narrowly avoiding a full-blown fall, but the incident shook him to his core. The near miss was a stark and unsettling wake-up call. This wasn't just getting old. This was something else, something more sinister. The invincibility he had always taken for granted, the unwavering stability that had been his constant companion throughout life, was beginning to crumble. He needed answers, and he needed them fast. The next morning, George found himself sitting in the sterile, brightly lit office of Dr. Emily Carter, his family physician for over 2 decades. Dr. Carter, a woman of boundless energy and unwavering optimism, listened intently as George recounted his recent episode at Miller's Grocery, her brow furrowing with concern. She performed a series of tests, checking his reflexes, his gait, and his overall muscle strength. The results, while not catastrophic, were far from reassuring. George, Dr. Carter began, her voice gentle but firm. I suspect you may be experiencing sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass. It's a common condition, especially in individuals over 60, but it can have serious consequences if left untreated. Sarcopenia. The word hung in the air, heavy and unfamiliar. George, a man who prided himself on his extensive vocabulary, had never encountered the term before. He felt a surge of frustration, a sense of being betrayed by his own body, muscle loss. He questioned, his voice tinged with disbelief. But I've always been relatively active. I walk every day, I work in the garden. That's excellent, George, Dr. Carter interjected, and it's certainly helped to slow the process. But sarcopenia is more than just a lack of exercise. It's a complex condition influenced by a variety of factors, including genetics, diet, and hormonal changes. She proceeded to explain the intricate details of sarcopenia, how it not only affected muscle strength and mobility, but also increased the risk of falls, fractures, and other age-related complications. She emphasized the importance of early intervention and a comprehensive treatment plan to combat the condition and restore his balance and vitality. Then came the real shocker. What many people don't realize, Dr. Carter explained, leaning forward with a serious expression, is that muscle can break down while you sleep, especially if your body lacks the proper fuel at night. Many seniors unknowingly skip or underfeed their bodies before bed, which can exacerbate muscle loss. George was stunned. He had always considered dinner to be his last meal of the day, typically consumed around 6 or 7 in the evening. The idea of eating anything before bed seemed counterintuitive, almost decadent. He had unknowingly been starving his muscles all night long, contributing to their gradual decline. It was a revelation that challenged his long-held beliefs about nutrition and aging. Dr. Carter continued explaining that balance was not solely dependent on muscle strength. It was a complex interplay of various systems within the body, including the brain, the eyes, and the vestibular system in the inner ear. Even subtle changes in vision medication or inner ear health could disrupt this delicate balance, leading to instability and an increased risk of falls. She stressed the importance of a holistic approach, addressing all potential contributing factors to restore his equilibrium and prevent future incidents. George listened intently, absorbing every word. The weight of her diagnosis settled upon him, a mixture of apprehension and determination. He knew that he faced a significant challenge, but he was not one to back down from a fight. He had faced adversity before, both in his personal life and in the tumultuous events he had studied and taught throughout his career. He would approach this challenge with the same intellectual curiosity and unwavering resolve that had defined his life. He would become a student of his own body, learning its intricacies and understanding its needs. He would overhaul his habits, embrace new strategies, and reclaim his vitality. He would not allow sarcopenia to dictate the terms of his aging. He would fight back, and he would win. The journey began with a meticulous review of his dietary habits. Dr. Carter recommended incorporating muscle-rebuilding bedtime foods into his evening routine. Soft-boiled eggs rich in protein and essential amino acids became a nightly staple. He discovered the creamy, tangy delight of Greek yogurt, a nutritional powerhouse packed with protein and probiotics. Pumpkin seeds, a crunchy and satisfying snack, provided a boost of magnesium, a vital mineral for muscle function. And he reluctantly embraced protein shakes, specifically those formulated with collagen and leucine, 2 key ingredients known to promote muscle growth and repair. The taste took some getting used to, but he persevered, reminding himself of the long-term benefits. He even started experimenting with different flavors, adding berries, bananas, and even a touch of cinnamon to make the shakes more palatable. It became a nightly ritual, a conscious act of nourishing his body and fortifying his muscles against the ravages of time. Next on his list was a comprehensive eye examination. He had been neglecting his vision for far too long, attributing his occasional blurry vision to fatigue and the general decline of age. Dr. Carter referred him to Dr. Anya Sharma, an ophthalmologist known for her expertise in geriatric eye care. Dr. Sharma conducted a thorough examination, revealing a subtle but significant change in his vision. His prescription was outdated, and he had developed a mild form of cataracts. She prescribed new glasses with an updated prescription and recommended a schedule for regular eye exams to monitor the progression of his cataracts. The new glasses were a revelation. The world snapped back into focus, colors became more vibrant, and he could once again read his beloved historical biographies without straining his eyes. It was a small but significant victory, a testament to the power of addressing even seemingly minor health issues. Then came the daunting task of reviewing his medications. George had been taking several medications for various age-related ailments, including high blood pressure, mild arthritis, and occasional insomnia. Dr. Carter cautioned that some medications could cause dizziness or lightheadedness, potentially contributing to his balance problems. She meticulously reviewed his medication list, identifying one particular drug that was known to have such side effects. She consulted with his cardiologist and his rheumatologist, and together they devised a plan to gradually reduce the dosage of the offending medication and explore alternative treatment options. The process was slow and deliberate, requiring careful monitoring and adjustments, but eventually they found a regimen that effectively managed his health conditions without compromising his balance. He felt a sense of relief, knowing that he had eliminated a potential risk factor that had been silently undermining his stability. He also tackled the seemingly mundane but surprisingly significant issue of his footwear. He had been wearing the same pair of worn-out floppy slippers for years, valuing comfort over safety. Dr. Carter gently but firmly pointed out the dangers of wearing such inappropriate footwear, emphasizing the importance of supportive non-slip shoes to prevent falls. George initially resisted clinging to the familiar comfort of his old slippers, but after a particularly harrowing near slip on his polished hardwood floors, he reluctantly conceded. He ventured out to a local shoe store where he was fitted with a pair of sturdy, supportive shoes with excellent traction. They felt strange and unfamiliar at first, but he quickly grew accustomed to them, appreciating the newfound stability and security they provided. The old slippers were relegated to the back of his closet, a reminder of his past complacency and a symbol of his commitment to a safer future. Perhaps the most challenging adjustment of all was embracing the use of a cane. George had always associated canes with frailty and infirmity, viewing them as a sign of weakness. The thought of relying on a cane filled him with a sense of shame and embarrassment. But Dr. Carter patiently explained that a cane was not a symbol of weakness, but rather a tool for freedom, providing additional support and stability to prevent falls and maintain mobility. She encouraged him to view it as an assistive device, much like his glasses or his hearing aid designed to enhance his quality of life. After much deliberation, George finally relented. He purchased a sleek, lightweight cane with a comfortable grip and began to experiment with it in the privacy of his home. He quickly discovered that the cane provided a remarkable sense of stability and confidence, allowing him to walk with greater ease and security. He gradually began to use it in public, initially feeling self-conscious, but eventually growing accustomed to it. He even started to personalize it, adding a decorative handle and a colorful wrist strap. The cane became an extension of himself, a symbol of his resilience and his determination to overcome his challenges. But George didn't stop there. He understood that restoring his balance and vitality required more than just dietary changes, medication adjustments, and assistive devices. It required a fundamental shift in his lifestyle, an embrace of proactive strategies to strengthen his muscles, improve his coordination, and enhance his overall well-being. He embarked on a program of simple balance exercises, performing them each morning in the living room, using the furniture for support. He started with basic exercises like standing on one leg, walking heel to toe, and practicing Tai Chi, a gentle and flowing martial art known for its balance-enhancing benefits. He gradually increased the intensity and duration of his exercises, challenging himself to improve his stability and coordination. He also incorporated nutrient-rich supplements into his daily routine, focusing on those known to support the nervous system and enhance coordination. Vitamin D, essential for bone health and muscle function, became a daily staple. He added B12, crucial for nerve function and energy production. He supplemented with magnesium, vital for muscle relaxation and nerve transmission. And he embraced omega-3 fatty acids, known for their anti-inflammatory properties and their beneficial effects on brain health. He researched each supplement, carefully consulting with Dr. Carter to ensure that they were safe and appropriate for his individual needs. Weeks turned into months, and George's efforts began to bear fruit. His legs grew stronger, his gait became steadier, and his confidence soared. The dizziness that had plagued him for so long gradually faded away, replaced by a sense of equilibrium and control. He felt more energetic, more vibrant, and more alive than he had in years. He started to rediscover the joys of his retirement, tending to his rose garden with renewed enthusiasm, devouring historical biographies with even greater fervor, and most importantly, spending quality time with his beloved grandson Leo. One sunny afternoon, while visiting George, Leo challenged him to a race in the park. George hesitated for a moment, remembering the fear and uncertainty that had gripped him just a few months prior. But then he looked at Leo's eager face, his eyes sparkling with anticipation, and he knew that he couldn't refuse. He took a deep breath, gripped his cane firmly, and said, "All right, Leo, let's see what you've got." And with that, they were off running through the park, Leo's laughter echoing through the air as George struggled to keep up his cane, tapping rhythmically against the pavement. He may not have been as fast as he once was, but he was running, truly running for the first time in what felt like an eternity. He was running with his grandson, sharing a moment of pure joy and unadulterated connection. It was a moment he thought he had lost forever, a moment he had almost given up on. But now, thanks to his unwavering determination, his proactive approach to health, and his unwavering love for his grandson, he was living it, breathing it, savoring it. And that wasn't the end of George's transformation. As his physical strength and balance improved, so did his emotional and mental well-being. He felt a renewed sense of purpose, a rekindled passion for life. He started volunteering at the local library, sharing his love of history with a new generation of students. He joined a senior citizens dance club, surprising himself with his newfound grace and rhythm. He even reconnected with old friends, rekindling friendships that had faded over time. Health 2660. Thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video. And until then, be kind to yourself.